And that's all we knew in fifth grade. Fifth grade. Not first, not second, not third, not kindergarten for sure. And this lady's teaching in kindergarten. I think it's kindergarten. I don't want to get it wrong. Kindergarten. Kindergarten. Like, why are we like even talking? Why is it even coming up? What's up, guys? Welcome to Let It Be Heard, where we are doers of the word, not hearers only. I'm your host, Jaden.heard, and we're going to be blown away by this crazy lady who's teaching our kids to call her mixed, not non-binary, none of that stuff, but mixed as a gender, not race. But you'll see for yourself. Check it out.
So, I had an interesting conversation with my students the other day because we were talking about the civil rights movement. And if you're someone who doesn't agree with, like, kids learning about transgender people, please just scroll and keep your negativity to yourself. So we were comparing the civil rights movement to civil rights that are being fought for today and comparing how people are fighting for these things. Of course, we compared issues coming up with race because that is most directly connected to the civil rights movement. But in a video I shared, they discussed that civil rights are being fought for many different types of people to make sure everyone has the same rights. They mentioned fighting for rights for people of color, for women, for immigrants, and lastly, they said gay, lesbian, and transgender people. Now, many of my students already know about gay and lesbian people, but they didn't understand what transgender meant. Now, with my students being second graders, I had to make sure that my lesson was appropriate for that age group. Simply said that a transgender person is born in a boy or girl body, and then in their heart they know that that doesn't match who they are, and so they might then identify by a different gender. It might be a boy who identifies as a girl who identifies as a boy. Apologies for having to change the venue. But lastly, I explained that it could be a boy that's a girl that's a boy, or someone who feels like neither. Now, why I felt okay sharing this was because they know that I identify as neither. I go by mix and not Mr. or Miss. Also, I told them about the trans teacher that teaches third grade. They are male to female transgender. But the funniest thing happened when I was explaining, I don't really feel like a girl, but I know I definitely am not a boy. So, I consider myself non-binary, which means, neither. And so someone's like, so does that mean you're mixed? And I like that they understand these terms because they understand that if someone is, two different races, that they're mixed. So because I was neither, they're like, so you're in the middle. That means you're mixed. And I was like, you know what? If that helps you understand it, that is perfect. Yes, I'm mixed. So I will no longer be identifying as non-binary. I will simply be identifying as mixed.
Oh boy. So lady changes her pronouns from non-binary to mix because kindergartners referred you that way, and so now you're going to base your truth on little kids deciding it for you. What? Like, I thought it was the adults know what's right or wrong, and we're to teach the kids, not the kids teaching the adults what's right or wrong and how life is and what pronouns are. Like, anyway, but the first thing that gave me a super red flag was look at her piercings. Look at like how her she's got like piercing right here, piercing right here, piercing right here. Like, how old is this lady? Like I mean, like, this is like a middle school thing. Like, middle schoolers do this. They have like a phase where they want to pierce their ears or stuff like that. But like, I mean, can you even kiss anybody like that? Like, I mean, who is she kissing? I mean, is she kissing like another mixed person? I don't know. But anyway, this lady's a kindergarten teacher. First of all, and this is another reason, parents, teach your kids before these people can. Like, these people will take your child and they'll teach you what they want what they want to teach the children or whatever. And their children will just nod and be like, okay, mixes, okay. Yes, ma'am. But those are your kids, so you don't let them teach them that stuff. Second, again, the fact that she's a kindergarten teacher, and then she also mentioned that there was a third grade teacher that's also like, who's in charge of this school? First of all, where are the parents at? Like, why are all the teachers like gay, lesbian, non-binary mix. Like, who's hiring these people? Like, is there like an agenda? Must be an agenda being pushed on these people. Like why are all the teachers for these little young kids gay or identifying as with the LGBT community? I mean, I don't understand that. Why is that? I mean, you trying to meet some diversity quota for your school to get some extra grants from the government? Probably. But I digress. She also mentioned that, you know, the kids already, again, I think she's kindergarten, right? These kids already know about lesbian and gay people, and they're okay with that. And I was like, why do they already know about that? Like, I mean, I don't think I even knew who I was in kindergarten. Like, I was just like chilling. Like, girls have cooties or whatever. Like, I was just chilling, like playing with toys. Why are we talking about gender and sex and sexual identifications in kindergarten? We didn't get into sex education really until 5th grade. I remember they sat us down in 5th grade with the boys being in one room and the girls being in another room, and we learned about ourselves. We didn't learn about each other. We learned about ourselves and what we are and what we were born as and how testosterone works and how like the man has a penis and the woman has something else. And that's all we knew in 5th grade. 5th grade. Not first, not second, not third, not kindergarten for sure. And this lady's teaching at kindergarten. I think it's kindergarten. I don't want to get it wrong. Kindergarten. Kindergarten. Like, why are we like even talking? Why is it even coming up? When you say that, even like when you say, okay, let's say your name is Mrs. Jones. Even if you do identify for it, it should be illegal for you to in kindergarten. It should be illegal for you to say anything else. You're either Miss or Mrs. Like, as far as if you're a woman, Miss or Mrs. Because you don't want to confuse any children, and for the sake of our children's, health, or sake of our children's education, we want you to just use these two and nothing else. I don't care what you are, and if you don't like it, you don't have to work in my school system. You don't have to work in my school. You can go somewhere else. I'm just kind of shocked that there's no parents at the school like burning it down, and I'm also shocked that this lady is so open about it on TikTok. It shows that our society is regressing so much to the point to where it's just normal just to see these videos about these teachers bragging about indoctrinating their students with gayness and weird ideologies. It is really awkward too when you open up the Bible, and again you see this being talked about or prophesied about in the future. So again, if you go to, I think it's 1 Timothy, and it talks about how in the end times, or 1st or 2nd Timothy, one of the Timothys, y'all don't, I mean, look, I'm not a scholar, so please give me a break. It does talk about how in the last days, people will basically have a form of godliness but deny its power and just love their darkness and stuff like that. And it's even worse when you have people teaching it, right? It's one thing to be like a victim or a little child and just believe it and then kind of be traumatized by it or indoctrinated with it. It's another to really know right or wrong and know that you're just, espouting BS and saying it anyway, right? Like this is a grown lady. Like, she knows that this is ridiculous because she wasn't like this when she was a kid. I highly doubt she was like this when she was when she was in her early adulthood. And all of a sudden now she's non-binary in this world where we've kind of created 100,000 genders and gender identities. And so now she's like, okay, well, that's a new thing, so I'm going to teach on that. Bro, you didn't even believe this like 2 seconds ago. And I say that all the time, but it's true. It's just completely made up. Their curriculum is ever so evolving, but I wouldn't even say it's evolving. It's like regressing. It's going backwards. It's just getting dumber, not smarter. It's essentially doing what we all expect it to do, which is failing. The failing of our educational systems and our education departments and everything like that, even higher education in colleges, are all terrible. From K to 12 to freshman, sophomore, junior year, and senior year of even college. Even after you get past your graduates, now you have PhDs. PhDs are probably the stupidest people we know. They're the main ones that are doing this COVID crap. They're talking about I'm a PhD, I'm a doctor, like I know what I'm talking about. Like no, like what you've done is you've indoctrinated yourself with complete stupidity and this gender identity stuff and this liberal CRT weirdness. Like, that's essentially what you've done. And that's what the teacher's doing right now. She's teaching the students what she is and what she wants them to be. They're going to go home, and then parents are going to have to unlearn everything that the lady told them, essentially. And this is another reason why, like, I don't understand why we send our kids to public school. Like, especially, you're sending them to a camp to be indoctrinated and thrown stuff to basically throw them off their pathway to Christ. That's basically what you're doing. You're the one putting a boulder in front of them that they're going to have to overcome in order to trust in Christ even more. I don't know why we're doing it. It's 7 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's 35 hours a week without parental supervision. You don't know what they're showing your child. You see the banning of books happening in Florida. You're seeing Ron DeSantis crack down on it, and you're even seeing Texas also crack down on it, on how these parents are going to these school board meetings and they're basically rebuking their school boards for allowing pornography in their books and their libraries. And I'm not talking about like this is high school. This isn't high school. This is middle school. This is elementary school. These kids are literally reading books about not just gay pornography, but straight pornography as well. It's all of it. All of it's just disgusting, inappropriate. But literally, like I mean, I could pull it up right now. Like I've saved them on my phone, on my Instagram. Like I have hundreds of them saved of parents speaking out against the school board meetings. I also have hundreds of teachers proudly coming out and saying, I cannot believe that my students are using my pronouns. I can't believe that my 8-year-old student came out as gay. I'm not going to tell his parent. Like, dude, like how is that okay? Even as a leftist, as a person who agrees with the transgender stuff, like if this is you should still not be okay with this. Like, why would you want kids to be brainwashed into something that they're not, that's not normal for them, right? Like, why don't you just let them be and then let them naturally choose what they want to do? Which I'm still against that. I think we should be brainwashing our children into Christianity. But they're not brainwashing kids. They're brain dirtying them. That's what they're doing. They're making them brain dirty. All right. We're making them brainwashed. Right. We're making them clean. We're making them think critically, because that's the only way that you can think critically is with the existence of God. Little attack at atheists right there. But anyway, no, this lady obviously should not be teaching any kids. She should be fired immediately, and she needs to honestly see someone about maybe like therapy, because you're letting kids dictate who you are. You're basing your identity on little children affirming your gender. Weird. Why is what you believe and why is who you are depend on what little kids say about you? You know what, like I used to say about the adults? I used to like sometimes like I pretend that I was a certain thing and the adult was like something else. I'm curious, like if I was like a little kid and I role played as let's just say I role played as like an alien, right? And I'm invading the earth, and I looked at all of the adults as the human inhabitants that I'm going to take over. Am I right? Am I right? Like, are adults just like a bunch of human inhabitants who are afraid of me as a little child taking over their planet? Obviously not. But this lady, if we're consistent, she would be okay with that. And she would affirm a kid and whatever they say, and she would conform, which she already has, she would conform into whatever that baby or whatever that child believes that she is. Or she would, you know how we have pretend playtime in kindergarten? Well, it's not pretend for her anymore. It's just for real. Like, there's no more pretend. There's no more dress up. There's no more, there's no more, like, in middle school or in elementary school, we had, like, dress up as what you want to be when you grow up. Well, instead of kids coming to school as an astronaut or a fireman, they're coming to school as probably like a drag queen, because you're okay with that. You're affirming that child and what they want to be. And it's no longer pretend. It's like for real. Like, okay, you're like actually like a girl boss or a man boss or whatever. I don't know. I'm 21, but I'm not in tune with all that gay stuff. They're brain dirtying, like I was saying. Like, they're making, like, look at the outcome of, let's look at the, if everyone becomes a Christian, let's look at the outcome, right? Let's look at the core tenets of Christianity and what God desires for every single person. if all kids became a Christian, all adults were Christians, and everybody was just brainwashed into being a Christian, you'd have no murder, you'd have no killing, no abortion, no stealing, no lying, no sin, nothing. Everyone would just serve God. If what they're doing works and everyone becomes a member of the LGBT community, well, you probably have no more babies. So humanity would probably die out because, again, Adam and Steve can't make two, they can't come together for real. They can't become one with each other and have a new life. Corey, you just had a baby. Could you have done that with another man?
No, I couldn't.
No. So humanity would die out. So even then, I think, and this is, again, a hot take on, I love my hot takes, but I do believe that indoctrination is inevitable regardless for kids. Kids are going to be indoctrinated one way or another. We indoctrinate them with science. We say, hey, look, atoms are in everything. That's technically indoctrination because you're teaching them something that you want them to know. Or, hey, math, 2 + 2 is 4. We're indoctrinating them with 2 + 2 is 4. We grow up thinking 2 + 2 is 4. There are some things that are really okay with indoctrinating kids with. I mean, that's what we should be doing. We're actually put here to train kids in the faith. And so indoctrinating kids on Christianity is what I call brainwashing. Indoctrinating kids on gayness and LGBT is brain dirtying, right? It's sin. And that's what sin is. It's just dirt. It's pieces of dirt, but it's what Satan really wants you to indulge in because he puts his picture in front of you. He like we all love steak, right? And so it looks like steak on the surface, and then you start to eat that steak, right? And it tastes good at first, but eventually you got to go poop. And that's not the best experience. Like for me, at least, I don't really like pooping that much. And it smells terrible and it sucks. But you got that temporal pleasure from eating that steak because it was seasoned well. It was really good. A lot of butter. It was basted in butter. You had the rosemary. You had the salt and pepper. You had whatever you had. You had the Lowry seasoning. You had all that on there, right? And it tasted great. And it was a nice medium rare. You looked at it. It's tender. But then you're on the toilet, right? And so, it's just like sin. Sin is pleasurable. Don't get me wrong. Sin is good. Sin, it's temporary goodness. Like, it feels good. But it's the path to destruction. The wages of sin is death, right? But life is righteousness with God. And so that's my point with the whole LGBT indoctrination. They put it as in oh no, we're not indoctrinating, we're just undoing the Christian indoctrination. But the Christian indoctrination led to a beautiful country that allows everyone in, no matter what race, gender, or whatever you are. You have the opportunity to succeed. You have these fundamental rights that come from God, and that's the outcome of Christianity. The outcome of LGBT is not that at all. It's destruction. It's pridefulness, Pride Month. It's not life, it's death, and it's sin, it's disgustingness, it's pedophilia. I mean, you look at the drag queens in front of the kids or whatever, weird stuff. But anyway, that's what that leads to. And so I think the alternative here is, no, let's not teach LGBT. Let's bring the Bible back in schools. Let's teach people the Bible, the fundamentals. We don't have to bring back the Bible. Just teach them morality. But the objective morality that we've known since we were little kids, not the new stuff that you're just creating every other second because we're just inventing stuff. And that's what happens when you implement Darwinian evolution into school. That's what happens when you implement all this craziness, this LGBT nonsense that is just made up, and you put it on our children, and it confuses our children. And so now you're going to have a generation growing up being like, wait, you mean to tell me this isn't normal? And then now your kids are going to look at you and be like, why did you teach me this? And the blood's going to be in your hands, and you will pay for that on Judgment Day. So that's it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Crazy lady. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And be sure to hit that follow button on our RSBN channel on Rumble. And then hit that join button. It'll take you over to our locals channel where you can further support the show and get access to additional content. God bless.